Hello everyone. In the last video we have seen what is calculus of variations, okay, and what are the main problems of calculus of variations. Like we have seen a problem of minimum arc length, then Brachistochrone problem, then isoperimetric problem, and surface of revolution. Okay, we have also seen some of the examples of functionals. Now let us move towards the method of solving these functionals, okay, and getting a solution. But before going for the method, let us prove 2-3 lemmas which we will need at some time in the when we start with the methods of solving the functionals. Okay, so the first lemma will be, it's also called as the fundamental lemma of the calculus of variations. While proving this lemma, we will use some of the results of Riemann integration, okay, and even some of the concepts of continuity. Let us first write the statement. If alpha of x is a continuous function on closed interval a comma b, and if integral from a to b alpha of x dx into y of x, and if integral from a to b alpha of x into y of x dx is equal to 0 for every y of x belonging to the class of this C A B, such that y at A is equal to y at B equal to 0, then alpha of x is identically equal to 0 on closed interval a comma b. Okay, so what is the statement? If alpha of x is a continuous function on closed interval ab, and if this integral is equal to 0 for every y of x belonging to this class. This is a class of all continuous functions on the closed interval a comma b. Okay, so for every function in this class, if this integral is equal to 0, where every function of this class satisfying this condition, ya is equal to y at b equal to 0, then alpha of x is equal to identically equal to 0 on closed interval a comma b. Okay, So that is the statement of the lemma. If you see here, when we talk about this integral, it is well defined. What tells us the existence of this integral? See, alpha of x is continuous and even this y of x is belonging to this class, and therefore this will be a well defined quantity. Okay, so we will prove by contradiction. So let us suppose say that alpha of x is not identically equal to 0 on closed interval a comma b. Okay, if it is not identically equal to 0, what does that mean? It will mean that there is some x, okay, belonging to a comma b, such that alpha at that x is not equal to 0. Okay, now the next thing is alpha is not equal to 0. Alpha at that x is not equal to 0 means what? That means this alpha x is either greater than 0 or less than 0, strictly greater than 0 or strictly less than 0. Okay, so without the loss of generality, let us assume that this alpha of x is strictly greater than 0 at that x. Okay, it is strictly greater than 0. Then see here, this alpha of x is a continuous function on closed interval a comma b. Okay, and x is a point where this function alpha is strictly greater than 0. Then by using continuity, what can we say? There will be one neighborhood of this point x, okay, such that in that neighborhood the function will have the same sign as at the point x. Okay, so let us call that neighborhood as some x1 comma x2. Okay, and this will be a subset of a comma b. Yes, so then there is x belonging to this neighborhood. Okay, and this will be a subset of this a comma b. Now we shall make use of this. Okay, so alpha has the same sign as this at the point x. It is greater than 0, so it will have the sign greater than 0 in this neighborhood. Now let us define one function in this neighborhood. Okay, and outside this neighborhood that function will be equal to 0. So define some, here we have taken y of x, no? So we will have to define y of x. Okay, so what we are trying to do here is we are trying to define y of x which will have the same sign as alpha x in this neighborhood, and it will belong to this class. That means it will be continuous on this interval and it will satisfy these conditions as well. Okay, so the best way to do this will be, we want it to be 0 at this point and this point, and we want it to be positive in this. Okay, so we'll take it this way: x minus x1 into x2 minus x. Okay, whenever x is belonging to closed interval x1 x2, and it's 0 when x does not belong to this interval x1, x2. Okay, so in this interval it is defined as this, and outside the interval it is equal to 0. Observe that y of x is continuous on closed interval AB, and y at a, what will be y at a? If that a, point A is not here, it's here, then y at a will be equal to 0. But if at all that point is here, what will happen? It will be equal to this x1. Yes, because it's the left hand point, right? So it with this function y of a will go to 0. Okay, then y at b, if we take, if b is not belonging here, it will belong here, and if it's belonging here, it is already 0. It will belong here, by that I mean it's not belonging here, no, so it is outside this interval, so it is defined to be equal to 0. But if at all x is b is here in this interval, it should be this point, because x1 and x2 is a subset of this, so it cannot be somewhere between inside the interval. It's the end point, no, so it must be this. Even if it is equal to that, then it x equal to b, it will be going to 0. Okay, so y at a and y at b will be equal to 0. So it is satisfying all the conditions. Okay, therefore integral from a to b alpha of x y of x dx, we will calculate this now. Integral from a to x, that will be equal to 0, not x, here the x1, a to x1, so that will go to 0, plus integral from x1 to x2 alpha of x into y of x dx, plus integral from x2 to b, that will also go to 0, because this function y of x, it has some value only in this interval, and outside the interval is vanishes. So hence this product will go to 0, and we will get the value of integral as equal to 0, and therefore we are left with only this. Okay, so now this is equal to this quantity, which is equal to integral from x1 to x2 alpha of x y of x dx. So that is equal to x1 to x2 alpha of x, and how is y of x defined on this interval? It is x minus x1 into x2 minus x dx. Okay, so if you see here, in this interval, this full function is positive. Okay, and therefore the value of this integral will be strictly greater than 0. The value of this integral will be strictly greater than 0. See here carefully, here this is strictly greater than 0. The value of this is greater than 0 in this interval x1 to x2. Okay, and therefore the value of this integral will be strictly greater than 0. Okay, this is by using your Riemann integration. And what is this leading us to? this is a contradiction to the hypothesis. What was the hypothesis? It's that integral from a to b alpha x into yx dx is equal to 0 for all y of x belonging to that CAB class. Okay, but we are getting one y of x such that it is not equal to 0 here, it's strictly greater than 0. Okay, so it is contradiction to that statement, integral from a to b y of x into alpha of x dx is equal to 0, and therefore our assumption is wrong, and hence we conclude that alpha of x is identically equal to 0. Students, see here, instead of just saying x, no, here we could have also said one point x naught belonging to AB such that alpha at that x naught is not equal to 0. Okay, just because the integration is again with respect to x, then you might get confused. Here also we are using x minus x1, no, to define the function. Okay, so if you could have said here the point x naught, it would have been better. Okay, a small change. Let us prove one more lemma. If alpha of x is continuous on AB closed interval and integral from a to b alpha of x y dash of x dx is equal to 0 for every y of x belonging to this class C1a comma b. I think it must be clear to you all how that CAB is now changed to C1a comma b, because see here this is alpha of x into y dash of x. Okay, so if it's continuous, then very well I can say then it will be integrable, so that is ensured by this class. Okay, y of x is belonging to this class. That means what? Y of x is continuously differentiable function. Okay, so it's differentiable and the derivative is continuous, and hence this quantity will be a well defined one. Okay, such that y at a is equal to y at b is equal to 0, then alpha of x is equal to some c where c is a constant on a comma b. Okay, then alpha of x is constant on this interval a comma b. This is what we want to prove. The proofs of these lemmas are slightly constructible type. Okay, we take something like we construct a function and then we go ahead, or here we shall take the value of the constant. Okay, so what we shall do is define the constant c, define the constant c to be equal to 1 upon b minus a into b minus a, integral from a to b alpha of x dx. Okay, and this c is well defined because alpha of x is a continuous function, so hence it will be integrable, and this is a constant 1 upon b minus a. Okay, it's non-zero, interval a comma b, no. Let y of x be equal to integral from a to x alpha of t minus c into dt. Where y of x belongs to this class. Okay, and y at a, what will be y at a? Y at a will be equal to 0, and y at b will be equal to what? Integral from a to b, integral from a to b alpha of t dt minus integral from a to b c dt. Okay, so this will be equal to what? Integral from a to b alpha of t dt minus, how is c defined? C is nothing but 1 upon b minus a, so that will be 1 upon b minus a into integral from a to b alpha of t dt into b minus a. Yes, because this c is a constant, so you take c outside, and what will be the answer of this integral? It will be c into b minus a. Yes, but what is c? C is nothing but this, so this will get cancelled and the answer of this will be equal to 0. Therefore y at a is equal to 0, y at b is also equal to 0. And also observe that this is differentiable. What will be the derivative of this? Y dash of x will be equal to differentiating this quantity with respect to x. When you differentiate it with respect to x, see here the integration is with respect to t. Okay, so you differentiate this with respect to x. What will happen? You take it inside the partial derivative, so that will go to 0, plus whatever is here, put the upper limit in place of t. Okay, so we will get alpha of x minus c into derivative of this with respect to x, so that will be 1 minus, in this wherever there is t put the lower limit, so it will be alpha at a minus c into derivative of this with respect to x, so that term will go to 0. This is a constant, no? So we will be left with only one term, that is alpha of x minus c. And if we see alpha of x minus c, that is a continuous function again. Okay, so hence we have got y of x belonging to this class, and y at a is equal to 0, y at b is also equal to 0. Okay, now consider integral from a to b alpha of x minus c into y of x dx. Okay, this is equal to integral from a to b alpha of x y of x dx minus c into integral from, not y of x, y dash of x. Okay, y dash of x, integral from a to b y dash of x dx. this is equal to so this will be equal to integral from a to b alpha of x into y of x. Okay, so it should be y dash of x here, right? Alpha of x into y dash of x. So this is y dash of x dx minus c integral from a to b y dash of x. And what is y dash of x? We have seen just now, it will be alpha of x minus c dx. Okay, so we have already seen that this is equal to 0, integral from a to b alpha of x minus c. Here we saw that, right, when we calculated y at b. Okay, so it's the same thing, that will go to 0, and this is also equal to 0, and this is equal to 0 by the hypothesis, and this we have seen already equal to 0. Therefore this integral is equal to 0. Okay, but also observe that when we calculate this integral from a to b alpha of x y dash of x dx, this y dash of x, it's alpha of x minus c. Yes, and okay, not this integral. Okay, let me write it again. Integral from a to b alpha of x minus c into y dash of x dx. Okay, but y dash of x dx is what? Alpha of x minus c. So what we will get is integral from a to b, this alpha x minus c, this. Okay, so we have already seen that this integral is equal to 0, but it is also equal to integral from a to b alpha of x, this c square, alpha of x minus c the whole square dx. Okay, that means this is equal to 0. So this will be equal to 0. Okay, how do we get this? From this 1 and 2, from this observation. Okay, we get this is equal to 0. Now again use the Riemann integral property. This quantity, it is strictly greater than or equal to 0. This quantity, it's greater than or equal to 0, and the integral is equal to 0. That means what? Whatever the function is, it should be identically equal to 0. Okay, and hence we will conclude that alpha of x is equal to c, where c is a constant. Thus the proof. We wanted to show that alpha of x is a constant. Okay.